Hi all, Cynthia here from MB Pretty Papers, back today with the next layout in the colour theories series that I'm doing with Katelyn from Grey Florals. If you haven't guessed already, this week's colour is green. So I had this beautiful laser cut or a cut file in my stash. I got this a few months ago as a part of one of my kits that I received from the Kitaholic Kit Club. Didn't know how to use it at the time, but when I was going through my papers to have a look to see what I could use for this challenge, I come across this and I thought, well, if this is not the perfect time to be using it, nothing will be. Then I go through the papers from this month's kit, the February kit, and I saw this paper that has the beautiful green florals on it with just the tiniest hint of pink, and decided that I will back all the butterflies with this one paper. So what I do is I just lay the butterflies down on top of the paper, trace around it with a pencil, and then cut out inside the line of the pencil so they'll fit inside, and then I just put some glue down and glued them on. Don't think I make you watch all of the backing. I think I cut away here in a moment, and they're all done. So the photo I have here is of my stepdaughter Carly. So her and her partner was down recently for a holiday. It was the first time we met her partner, and it was just a beautiful photo of her holding one of our chooks. And I have to laugh because if you saw my previous video, it was of her partner Hayden, and he was holding one of our chooks too. So we must have friendly chooks here that they decided to pick up and give a little pat to. So I'm just going through my papers, seeing which one I want to use to back this cut file on, or laser cut on, and I come back to this paper here actually. I like the way that looks. It's quite light and bright. The circles all talk about generations and family, which I think is quite appropriate because obviously she's my stepdaughter. And the writing is, it's a light bluey green, so I think that works well with the colour scheme for this week as well. Sorry about the flicking here. It lasts for a little moment on and off, and then it stops again towards the end of the video. I think you all know, if you've been watching previously, that I'm having some camera issues. It's Saturday today here when I'm doing the voiceover, and I am definitely going to figure out how I can get my big camera. I have a Canon, I don't know, D60 or something. I'm going to figure out how I can use that to record with, because my phone is just not cutting the mustard anymore, and I've tried a number of different things, and I just can't make it stop, and it becomes very frustrating. Generally I look up, I've been quite aware of the fact that it's doing, and I look up and I try to stop recording, turn all the camera off, let everything settle down, and then start recording again, but it interrupts the flow, so I've really got to do something about it. So I'm going through the papers, deciding what I can mount my photo on, and I decided that I will look for black. I went through some doilies and some few other options, but I do pull out the blacks and see whether there's anything in there that I might want to use. Because there's black in the photo and the background's white, I do really want to help it, you know, pop off and stand out from the back of the page. So I try a few different options, and in the end I decide that I will mount it on this same paper that I backed all the butterflies on, and then I will mount that on the black cardstock. So mounting the photo with this paper just carries that same element from the background to the photo, and having a little bit of black there really does make it stand out from the background and make sure it doesn't blend in too much with the green and the butterflies. Had this piece of paper here in the stash as well, and decided that I'll fussy cut out these flowers, and I will make the majority of the embellishments black and white. And a little bit later on I go through my black and white container of embellishments, and I realize that I've already fussy cut out a few of these flowers, so I pull those out and use those as well. Just seeing how I can lay them up, and I cut away here in a minute and I glue them all down. So I don't make you see me glue all those down or watch me glue all those down. I use my hot glue gun to glue them all in place. There you go, all done. Also have this sheet of acetate butterflies. I think I got that in this month's kit as well, or it may have been in last month's kit. I think it's from a Kaiser Craft sheet of butterflies, and I decided that I'll use a couple of those on this page as well. So I run them through the label maker, the Xyron label maker. This one is just slightly too big, and as I'm running it through, it bends up the tip of one of the wings, but I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. And then I do another 2 butterflies, and both of those go through fine. I do put this one down here. You'll see me run it through the label maker and stick it down the bottom, but towards the end of the layout I pull it up, and thankfully it didn't tear anything, and stick it down in a different location. Just bring it up a little bit further, I think, and just going through and seeing which one, whether I want a bigger butterfly or a smaller butterfly, and I decide to go with the smaller. So quite often when I put my elements on the page, I'm pretty much like everyone else, or the majority of people. I put 3 of an element on a page, and it's not something I deliberately do, but I do know that you know, after I finish I end up having 3 of the elements on the page, and I find that it just does give that balance to the layout, and it just seems to make it look more balanced. Going through my stash, you saw me pull out a few other butterflies to see whether I can put some more of those on, but I decided I don't want to use any of those. And pulling out anything that I think has a bit of green in it or a bit of black, and I don't use a great deal of it actually in the end. I really do just use these florals and a couple of other little things, and that's it. So this is how I store my embellishments. Once I've got them down to a certain level in the pack, I just put them all in by colour. So I've pulled out a big stack of black and white there to the side, and we'll go through in a minute to see what I can use. Had this chipboard sheet, I think it's an old Maggie Holmes open book maybe, and it has this beautiful lady on it, and I've never really known what to do with her. She never seemed to suit a layout that had me in it, but when I saw this photo of Carly, and I knew that she was going to be perfect. Putting together a little vase here. So the vase, the mason jar there, was a part of the cut apart in one of my kits that I received, and I've just put some of the cut out florals in top as it's like a little jar of flowers there. And the circle elements that you see, I have 3 circle elements there, and they're from a Heidi swap. Yes, definitely Heidi swap, they were. A pack of embellishments. I think it was on my desk or something like that, a pack which you would not think would go at all with the layout that I'm doing, but the layout, you know, the the sayings was quite generic. So the top one with the geotag just says here and now. The one on the side talks about being happy on the left, and I think there's a third one comes in somewhere, I think, that says something else. And then I think I use one of the sayings that you see there beside the scissors. I think I use capture. I'm pretty sure that's what I use. Go through my thickers. Didn't quite have enough of these thickers to write beautiful. I didn't have a T, so I just used an upside down F, and I think your eye just reads beautiful anyway. The scripty writing kind of makes it flow. It does for me, so I ran with it. Just tucking some more of these little elements in here. You saw me pull out one of the green buttons from a sheet of buttons. They are from the our local reject shop, so really cheap embellishments, but they can have absolutely beautiful scrapbooking lines and some embellishment and papers. It's certainly worthwhile going in every now and checking those out. As you can see, I've pulled up that butterfly that I spoke about, and now I'm seeing where else I can put it. And I decided that I do want to try to connect those two clusters together, so the main photo cluster to the girl on the left. So I wanted to sort of make that one big cluster. Putting the third butterfly down, and I decided to just sit it there under the bee to sort of fill in that little gap, and I really like the way that looks. And that pretty much comes to the end of our layout. So if you stuck with me this far, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave any comments below. Make sure you pop on over and have a look at Katelyn's layout. I'll link my previous layouts below, as well as a link to Katelyn's channel. Stay tuned till next week when we come up with the next colour. I think next week we are doing blue. Until then, have a lovely week, a lovely month, and I will catch you on the next video. Talk to you then. Bye.